Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. That's Pali, and it's just giving homage and respect, due respect to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. The potential for each human being to awaken, the teachings, and the community of people following the teachings. We've started a series on the 7 factors of awakening, and I just want to review slightly from last week, the intro talk, and starting with this fact that neuroscience shows and that the Buddha certainly knew powerfully, personally, is that the mind can only do one thing at a time. So this whole idea of multitasking is a misnomer. If you're doing more than one thing, your attention is averting from one item to the other. So actually multitasking is quite inefficient. The research shows that. The Buddha says that it's binary, that either the mind is doing something wholesome, something helpful, something useful, something beautiful, or it's doing something, none of those things, unwholesome, not beautiful, not helpful, hurtful, harmful. And of course, there's a continuum, but there is this dividing line. So some things are just mildly not useful. Some things are mildly useful. Some things are life-changingly beautiful and useful. Deep states of meditation, deep insight, immense generosity. These are powerful. And likewise, we know this other side, murderous rage and terrible things that people can do in their lives. And some of us, we all have skeletons in the closet. We all have dark things that we've done or thought. And so this is where the teachings of the 7 factors of awakening really come in, that they are what the mind is doing when it's wholesome. And the 5 hindrances that we've talked about a couple of times since I've been here are these universal, impersonal, unwholesome energies that are in the mind. Greed, aversion, dullness and drowsiness, restlessness and remorse, and skeptical doubt about the Buddha's teachings. And these are things that come up for all of us in our meditation, and that we want to learn to disentangle from, not take personally, and learn to work with and deal with and settle. And when throughout that process, what's happening is that 7 factors of awakening are coming online and strengthening, and they're what does the work for disentangling from these 5 hindrances. It's just nature. This is how the mind works, and the Buddha was the absolute master. So the 7 factors of awakening, they start the doorway, the gateway, and in fact the foundational stone is mindfulness. And that's what I'll be speaking about this morning, mindfulness. And I want to entitle the talk, Remembering Presence. Remembering presence, because there are these 2 parts to this Pali word sati. And initially, when Pali was being translated into English 80, 90 years ago, the translation that was chosen for sati was recollectedness, which is sort of emphasizing the remembering part, the memory part. Currently, it's very popular to translate mindfulness as, uh, sorry, translate sati as mindfulness, which really emphasizes the presence part. But they're both there. And this is one of the big challenges translating Pali, is that some of these words are very, they're pithy, and finding one English word can be next to impossible to capture the full nuance of the word. So I'll speak first about this presence part and then about the memory part. So the presence part is the mindfulness part. It's the being aware. Ajahn Brahm likes to use a phrase that can be helpful for us while we're meditating and even when we're not meditating, to be strengthening sati, using it in our lives. And that is, the presence part is, what am I doing? And the memory part is, what should I be doing? And if that word should is a stumbling block for people, you can just work your own phrases, but sort of saying those two parts, like what's happening, what's going on, what's a good way to be with it, to work with it, to deal with it. And no matter what, that remembering part, what's a good way to be with this? You can think of a friendship. You can think of like, if we're having a hard time, if something's difficult, and we turn to a friend, that friend, if it's truly a friend, that friend is going to have all those qualities that we want to be bringing to our own experience, want to be learning how. And we can draw from that memory, that felt sense, that experience we've all had, where a friend was attuned, they were patient, they were compassionate, they gave us the benefit of the doubt, they saw our strength and ability to be with this. And this is why now Ajahn Brahm wants to call mindfulness kindfulness. So this sort of captures these three parts, like the presence and the remembering, and then the quality of this presence. It wants to be imbued with care and lots 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 of patience. The Buddha says that this is the highest austerity, and and as you start to meditate, as you start to really see what's in there, and start to proactively be with it, deal with it, and start cleaning it up, you must have patience, because there's a really amazing bhikkhuni nun, Jetsumna Tenzin Palmo, and there's a book about her life called Cave in the Snow. She spent 12 years on her own in a cave in the snow in the Himalayas. And at one point in that book, she says, she's British, I can't do it, but she says, the path is exceedingly long. Yeah, it's a big project. And so this presence, this is the first line. We have to, if we're gonna deal with something, we have to know what it is we're dealing with. And so we need to start being more and more present to our own internal experience, and just being aware. And the thing, the friend, the companion that we need, if it's truly going to be presence, is honesty. It's essential. There's somewhere in the canon, the Buddha said there are these two qualities that are essential to make progress. And I heard this years ago from Thanissaro Bhikkhu, and I've yet to find the sutta reference, but it's on my list of things to do. I so want to find this sutta, but the and I mean I trust Ajahn Thanissaro. He's translated these things, he totally takes his teachings from the suttas. So I'm comfortable to say it. He said the Buddha says that we need to be observant and honest. This is that presence, observant and honest, really like a scientist. With a scientist, like a scientist with a very warm heart. And I know that there are many um, scientists with a very warm heart, observant and honest. And the more honest we are, you've probably all had that experience. The more honest you are, the more that like it's like clicking something into a gear. The presence gets stronger. It brightens up. You're there and it's a little bit foggy and a little bit dull, and you're having trouble finding the breath, and then you realize, oh, I'm really discouraged. And like as soon as you get there, it's like, that's what it is. That's what was in the way, you know, or or the opposite, um, you're trying to be with the breath, and then the mind is just thinking, 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 and then you realize, oh, I'm excited about such and such, or I'm upset about such and such, and it's so interesting that truth is we can start having truth be our best friend, especially when we start to really understand the Buddha's teachings that like it's not my fault, it's just the way it is. Like blame is a non-issue, and bad is a non-issue. This is all our delusion. It's just a project. It's like opening the door of a room and it's like, whoa, there's such a mess in here. And but we don't get all, like, sometimes we might feel tired or discouraged because it's a lot of work, but we don't, we just get to work. That this can be very, very helpful. So presence, it's got this kindfulness quality. So um, the way that we can lean into and strengthen our presence is to uh, these three things: being honest, being observant, being honest, and being kind, being patient and kind, like a good friend. And it starts to change our conditioning. So our conditioning is the opposite of those things. It's like excuse making and performative and evaluative, um, and none of those apply. It's all off track. So the presence part, and what's incredible is uh, when there's presence, even if what we're being present with is unwholesome or difficult, uh, the presence is bringing the wholesome, and it's interrupting the momentum of whatever it is, the anger or the feeling of being a victim, or whatever it is, whatever story we're used to running in our heads. As soon as we become aware of it, we that's been, a nanosecond of wholesome. And then the more that you put the energy into knowing, doesn't matter what you're knowing. You can have confidence. If it's even the most painful thing, if you're knowing it, knowing it, knowing it, knowing it, you're bringing the wholesome. You're bringing the wholesome. That is like cleaning it up. And eventually, this presence, this mindfulness gets so strong, it's like a power washer. It's very powerful. So the memory part is, I can talk about it quite a bit. And again, this is a part of sati that often doesn't get enough airtime and enough um, teaching around, frankly. So the very first place that memory is at work when we're meditating, and even when we're off the cushion, as we're taking on this project of cleaning up this messy room, is that we remember what we're doing. And so in meditation, it's, and this is how presence and memory, they work together. They work in tandem. It's like a tandem bike. Uh, you remember that you're meditating. And this is such an important skill for all of us, especially as we're starting, because invariably our mindfulness invariably is um, not that strong. And the memory component can buttress it, scaffold, and strengthen it. So you're meditating, and who knows how long time has gone by, and then you realize you're actually in the grocery store, in your mind. And then all you need to do, as soon as you realize, oh, I'm in the grocery store, boom, this is you've strengthened the sati because you've remembered, oh, wait, I'm apparently meditating. And so you just lovingly bring the attention back to the meditation object. And this is where we can really decondition a lot of our habit energy. We put the focus on the remembering, not the focus on forgetting, not the focus on the fact that I wandered off, not the fact that I got distracted. And and then it's a victory, not a defeat. This is very important for all of us. Sanghamita shared that this was her practice for a couple of years. And she even had a mantra. She'd realize, oh, I'm off my meditation object. And she would celebrate and say, thank you, Sati. This is, this is, we're so like used to the negative. We're so used to the punitive. We're so used to the performing. No, just yay. I'm back with the program. Sometimes in my meditation, I'll be like, I'm here, like to my meditation object. I'm back. And we can play. It's good. It's very good. It keeps it light, which it needs. There's enough heaviness and looking what's really in there. Like, so you can play. And yeah, so focusing on the victory. I was with a group in Calgary this weekend, and I told the person who wrote this question, I want to use this because it's such a ridiculous example of where our mind goes. And all of us, it happens. And she said that she was, she was asking a question, how, like, what on earth is going on, and how do I deal with this? And she said, she's meditating, she's with the breath, and suddenly she's looking in the freezer of a man that she doesn't even know, like taking an inventory of what's in that freezer. It's like this is how ridiculously bizarre what can come up for us in meditation. And just to keep it light and celebrate. Ooh, I don't even know this guy. I'm going to come back to the breath. And and then some meditations teachers teach, and it's very, very useful, helpful. When you come back to the breath, this beautiful thing that Sanghamita would use, thank you, Sati. Sometimes I'm like, I'm back, I'm here. Like the breath is really gonna go, oh, good, but to relax, like to consciously, deliberately relax, use the out breath, maybe even, maybe the head, just relax. Because we're not aware of it, but when we get into deeper states of meditation, we'll become incredibly aware of it. Thinking is producing a slight, mild tension physically in the body. It has an imprint. So yeah, remember, remember what you're doing, and then celebrate that you remembered, and then consciously, deliberately relax. Another way that we can be using this part of sati to just strengthen our mindfulness is to remember the teachings. This is very, very important. This is actually, it's crucial. And it it it's helpful on so many levels. When we remember the teachings, this is the like, what should I be doing? Like what's a good way to be with this? This is the deconditioning of all of our habit energy. We have this 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 wisdom that's come from the Buddha. And the first part of the teachings to remember is on the Eightfold Noble Path, the the second second lane, second step, second part, second factor, which is right intention, which is this kindfulness. It's like make peace, be kind, be gentle. That's Ajahn Brahm's shorthand for that path factor. We're making peace with whatever's there. This is the first line of 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 defense of action. Just make peace. And as we make peace with whatever's there, we'll see our habit energy, which is so useful. We'll see like, oh, I'm hard on myself, or oh, um, I'm not trusting right now, or oh, I'm making things more complicated. I'm making things worse. Whatever that habit energy is. Um, this idea of remembering the teachings. The Buddha actually says in the Connected Discourses, chapter, the book 46. So Samyutta Nikaya 46, Sutta number 3. He's saying, when we recollect the Dhamma, when we ponder it, when we examine it, and when we use it in meditation, remember what we should be doing. When we recollect the Dhamma, on that occasion, the enlightenment factor of mindfulness is aroused. This is how we strengthen it. This is how you do it. So the very first part of the teachings to remember is to make peace. Make peace with whatever's there, and bring this kindfulness and this attunement. That's the presence part of sati, and the honesty. And when we start doing this, you will start to feel different. You'll feel different in your meditation. And this is really important. This remembering the teachings is an absolute reframe for what we're doing. It's not me meditating. It's I'm I for whatever, there's many reasons, but here I am knowing some of the teachings of the Buddha, and I'm getting to walk down that path. I'm getting to follow those teachings, follow the instructions. It's the Dhamma against the defilements, not me. It's the Dhamma against the defilements. And this reframe, again, can help decondition us from this whole everything that we're doing all the time, like measuring and evaluating and comparing and sometimes competing and trying to perform and do. The meditation is non-do, non-do, non-do. Stop, stop, stop. At least slow down. At least slow down. It's highly underrated. The greatest thing. And it also can counter, a lot of us have habit energy around control, trying to control our own experience, control things outside. This is just like hands off the wheel. You have to trust, and you're putting your faith in the teachings. Um, this evaluating, and so this can unhook us from a trap in meditation of either overestimating or underestimating, like evaluating our performance. Well, that was a good meditation, or like, no, I'm just cleaning up the room. I'm cleaning up the room. Get clear about what you're doing, and then it can unhook us from expectation, from discouragement. We're just doing this project, and we're committed to it for however long it takes. And this is that whole teaching around beginner's mind. Just come fresh each sit, because sometimes we have deeper experiences in meditation, and now we've got this problem where I want that. It causes and conditions, and so you just make peace with what's arising, and you do your very best to follow the instructions. And the unfolding, it's like a tree growing. It's nature. You just let it do what it's going to do. It's so liberating. It's so different than how we usually live and work. uh, my meditation teacher is providing some opportunities to do this thing she's calling Dhamma circles. It's very much like Gregory Kramer's insight dialogue. And it's almost like meditating on the outside. Like you're in dialogue, but you're trying to be very, very present and keep a lot of your attention here. And I've done it a couple of times now, and just somehow I'm seeing much more of my habit energy, maybe because it's new, than I am currently in my meditation. Um, and I'm seeing, it's a bit daunting, but I'm seeing this sort of steady state evaluator that's there all the time. Like this, this uh, sensation and this voice, like, oh, I'm not as good at being present as all these people, or like, so I'm evaluating myself in comparison to them, and then I'm evaluating what I'm doing. Like, it's pretty strong. um oh, that was really good what I just said, or oh, that wasn't the whole, just constant evaluation. It's exhausting. And I'm very interested in putting it down. Very, like, can I could I give this to somebody else? It's like Ajahn Brahm's book, who ordered this truckload of dung? Wow, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's just one truck. Remembering the teachings, and it really the teachings can unhook us from this crazy habit energy, and it's refreshing to see it, because then I hopefully, well, first of all, I know the teachings enough to know it's garbage, and it's not helpful, and so hopefully that can help me unhook, um, or start at least disentangling. So the last thing, in terms of remembering the teachings, is um, this question that's very important in meditation, and it comes up a lot, is, when do I, stay with my meditation object and ignore this, like this evaluative habit energy, or like these other things that are niggling? When do I just ignore, and stay with the meditation object, stay with the meditation object? And Beth Upton has done this series, Journey to Jhana. Jhana is a word for deep, deep states of meditation. through Tricycle magazine in the September issue, and it's 10 lectures that are about 20 minutes each. And I'm just going to read part of the transcript because she addresses this question that's like across the board. All of us need to get some guidelines on this. And she's just so clear. So, when do I consciously move my attention from my chosen meditation object, which for many of us, most of us, is the breath, and attend to this other thing that's arising in my experience? And when do I not do that? When do I ignore it? When do I include it, and when do I ignore it, exclude it? And Beth says, the answer to that question is really more of an art than a science. It's more of a dance than a mathematical equation. So there we are. We're with our breath. We've established comfortable, patient, contented attention on the breath. Oftentimes, this is Beth's voice, I speak about it like a relationship with the breath. We've already spoken about these beautiful mental factors that establish us in wise attention. We want to be in that beautiful relationship with the breath that is evocative of this wise attention. It means we want to be loving with the breath, interested in the breath, grateful for the breath, respectful of the breath. So we're building this relationship with it that makes us want to stay there. We're not using the breath as a means to an end, like, all right, I'll be with you so you can get me to my deeper states of meditation. Where is it? Deliver the goods. Come on, breath. We're building a relationship with the breath where we like it for its own sake, and we want to be with it like a friendship. In the same way that the train builds up speed over time on the beautiful track, the wholesome track, so too the quality of that relationship with the breath is built drop by drop, breath by breath. And that relationship gets more and more beautiful, and it holds our attention more and more. But in the same way as any other relationship, things come up and get in the way. So imagine that you and the breath go for a coffee, and we're in a noisy cafe. If we're open-hearted with each other, genuinely respectful of each other, really understand what the other one wants to say, so actually you've gone with a friend, so I messed up the metaphor, then most of the noise in the cafe is going to fade out of our awareness in time. We've all had that experience. We don't need to tell other people to be quiet. We don't need to do anything about it. We just need to be in good relationship with each other. If we're in good relationship with each other, it's going to naturally build momentum, and our attention is essentially just going to forget about the other stuff because our mind can only do one thing at a time, and it's doing this. It's involved in this relationship. It's involved in this engrossing conversation. So the noise in the cafe goes out of our awareness. But if there was a fire in the corner of the cafe, then we'd want to attend to it. Or if people on the next table were threatening violence, we'd want to attend to it. So there's this dance, this art of continually asking ourselves, what is the fire in the corner? What is that violent guy on the table saying? Or is it just people chit-chatting a bit too loudly? It's not always easy to make that call, but there are a few rules of thumb that we can use. And she gives 3. First, the first rule of thumb is that if there's something else calling our attention pretty loudly, it could be an emotion, a bad mood, an annoying noise, a pain in the body, or something else that's calling your attention loudly. And it's so hard that in order to ignore it, you have to tense your attention around the breath and hold on to the breath tightly. Then this is a sign that you should include this loud thing, that you should temporarily, consciously divert your attention away from the breath and attend to this fire in the corner of the cafe. Get the fire extinguisher, do something. In this case, the fire extinguisher is love. It's our wise attention. We would tend toward that pain, emotion, or noise and blast it with our life. We're like, pain, you can be there. That's what the love looks like. Emotion, you can be there. We're no longer having aversion to it. Noise, you're just part of reality. You can be there. I don't need to hate you, and I don't need to try and control you. Once we've extinguished that fire with our love, then we can return to our meditation object. Second rule of thumb is if it's calling our attention repeatedly, over and over. So we ignore it and we're like, okay, that noise can be there. But then after a few seconds or a minute, it's like, oh God, again. Then that's another sign that maybe we need to turn to it. We attend to it and give it some love, and then we need to come back to the practice. If something pulls our attention away fleetingly, only once or twice, if it's relatively comfortable to ignore, then we can pretty much ignore it. And the third rule of thumb I will give, Beth, is if you secretly hate something, then you should probably divert your attention to it. And this is where we need that honesty with ourselves. Let's say that there's a dripping tap in the background and you think you're doing quite a good job of ignoring it, but you secretly hate it. That hatred is going to gently, quietly compound over time. When you think you're ignoring this thing, you're actually hating it. So you'll keep on putting drops in the pot of this hatred, and it's going to burden your heart, and it's going to weigh down your practice. So if there's something which is distracting you even a little bit, but you hate it, then it's better to turn towards it, put your love on it, make sure that you accept it first, and then come back to your breath. These are some of the rules of thumb, but like I said, it's a dance. It's not a science. And these are the types of questions that come up most when we're in meditation. Should I ignore this thing? Should I pay attention to it? So I also encourage you to make experiments there when those kinds of things happen. What happens if I include this thing? What happens if I continue to try and ignore it? And we learn where those lines are through doing the practice and running these experiments for ourselves. So I will stop there.
Andamayandamakataya sadukaram dadamase. Sadhu, 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 anumodami.
Wonderful. Please, anyone